Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. There is a great article today, July the 3rd, 2012, that you need to consider giving a look to. It's on boxingnews24.com. And it's about an interview done by Ellie Setback with the man who may have the fastest hands in boxing outside of Manny Pacquiao, and that's Gary Russell Jr. Now, Gary Russell Jr. was a very distinguished amateur. He was twice an amateur champion. He should have been on the U.S. Olympic team, but he failed to make weight. He's now an unbeaten fighter. He has looked spectacular. Now, in this article on boxingnews24.com, believe it or not, he actually criticizes Yuriorkis, Gamboa, and Adrien Broner. Now, longtime viewers know that probably more than a year ago, you can search for it on YouTube site. I did a video on Yuriorkis Gamboa where I labeled myself a skeptic of Yuriorkis Gamboa. But Gary Russell needs to be careful. Fighting an ambush fighter like Gamboa is very hard to do because Gamboa has great foot speed and great leverage, right? And so, while I believe stylistically Gamboa has issues, you can just look at the number of times Gamboa has been knocked down in fights, right? While I agree with Russell that Gamboa has flaws, I just feel that Gamboa, who's physically bigger than Russell and who carries a bigger punch than Russell, would be a very tough matchup for Russell because Gamboa also has hand speed. And it would be hard for Russell to catch up with Gamboa in the ring because Gamboa is excellent at keeping a distance between himself and his opponent between attacks. Anyway, it's refreshing to see a young fighter calling out, literally, fighters who are very highly regarded in the sport. And let's talk about Adrien Broner. Adrien Broner today is one of the best defensive fighters in the sport. I have Broner on my top 10 pound for pound list. He's very impressive. But it would be interesting because Broner, like Floyd Mayweather, who also has this problem, because Broner feels so comfortable up on the ropes, and because Broner really is a master chess player up on the ropes, I get the feeling that Broner has reached a point where he doesn't really want to go hunting for an opponent. Unless the opponent is flawed like Jason Litzow, I don't think he'd want to go hunting for an opponent, let's say a Yuriorkis Gamboa, who's outside and is intermittent, is fighting an ambush game and isn't allowing a chess player like Broner to actually play chess. In other words, the person's not in Broner's face trying to force a confrontation. Rather, like Jean Pascal, another ambush fighter, against another technician, Chad Dawson, who's also on my top 10 list at Dwyer top10boxing.blogspot.com, right? Rather than play chess, these ambush fighters will come in and knock over the chessboard, hit you upside the head, and then back out. They're not interested in outthinking you. They're not interested in, literally moving chess pieces with you. They're just interested in hit and run. And the best ambush fighters, the Jean Pascals, the Yuriorkis Gamboas, the David Hayes, they have power in both hands. They can lead with the power shot. So, a Broner or a Floyd Mayweather wouldn't be able to engage in a trade-off that they win. This for that. He does this, I do that. He comes in, I block the shot, I throw this other punch. Because when you're fighting a pure ambush fighter, he's leading with the power shot, right? If it lands, it takes you out, right? If it doesn't land and then you're there trying to throw a counter, that ambush guy might be in the middle of a flurry with other power shots. Think Amir Khan, right? Khan is a switch. He also can operate behind a long, effective jab. But Amir Khan has reached a point in some fights, think Khan Zab Judah, where he just comes in, throws a quick flurry, runs away. The technician never gets a chance to establish his technique. So Gary Russell Jr. against Adrien Broner would be a very intriguing fight. And given the trash talk that Gary Russell has put on the table, let's hope that fight happens soon, because I see Broner gaining weight and then participating at higher weight classes, right? Since Russell is younger right now, is smaller right now, Russell's going to have to fight Broner while he has an opportunity to do so, before Broner gains weight and hunts bigger game. So take a look at this BoxingNews24.com piece. It is interesting. Let me say this too. A guy with Gary Russell's amateur pedigree should be taking more chances professionally, right? I think that this idea of giving a guy a long apprenticeship before he becomes a champion ignores the fact that you have fighters like Beibut Shumanov, right, who have titles. Floyd Mayweather, you'd be surprised how soon Floyd in his own career fought for a world championship. If you have the gifts, push yourself and fight for titles. If you're Gary Russell and you really feel that you're in a position where you can call out Yuriorkis, Gamboa, and Adrien Broner, if you're, pursuing boxing A-listers, then you need to make sure you and your management are on the same page. You need to say to your management, look, I'll risk the loss to fight for the glory, right? As it is, Yuriorkis Gamboa is thinking of fighting Brandon Rios, right? He too is thinking about fighting at higher weight classes. Gary Russell, if you're serious about calling these guys out, you need to fight them soon before they become too big and too ahead of you in terms of weight. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments for me here online. The article is at BoxingNews24.com, an excellent site. I hope you give it a look.